Now, with what I'm hearing and seeing, I'm not convinced. I think we could see him. I think he could sign for us. And I think that the Blues owners have shown that they're not frightened to throw money at things. And if they want a player, they'll go and get them. So, love to see him. Hope it happens. Now I've got to answer the question, will it happen?
Welcome back to Small Heath Alliance FC. And as you'd have seen from our last video, we decided to put a community post out and ask you for some questions and ideas that me and Dad could discuss on the podcast. And we decided to break this down into 2 videos. We did 5 questions on the previous one, and we're going to answer a further 5 in this video as well. So Dad, should we just get straight into it and just fire you over the first question?
Fire away, yeah.
So the first question comes from Luke86811. Thank you very much, Luke, for your question. And also thank you everyone else for sending your questions in as well. We really appreciate it, don't we?
Really do, yeah.
So from Luke86811, if Birmingham get promoted this season back to the Championship, do you think they could go back to back and get promotion to the Premier League? Unlikely, but anything is possible.
It's tough to do that. Ipswich, because everybody could look at Ipswich and think, oh, anybody can do that. But when was the last time that happened?
I think it was Norwich.
Yeah, it was. Basically, it's not very often.
About 10 years ago, yeah.
It's tough because if you look at the Championship, so if we get promoted from League One, we go into the Championship, it's a graveyard for Premiership clubs. In fact, the vast majority of clubs now in the Championship have at one point been in the Premier League. And of course, then you've got the teams that come down from the Premier League with their parachute payments as well. So I don't think I'd easily like just turn around and answer that question and say, yeah, we'll definitely do it. But I actually think it could take a couple of seasons. I think we're building nicely, building a bit of momentum. And actually, I think it might be better. We'd be in a better position going into the Premiership with maybe a few seasons to keep building our squad to get those players in. But I'd love to do it. I mean, I don't think Ipswich will be complaining, or any of their fans are not going to be complaining that they're going to be in the Premiership next season. They're not going to say, oh, we've gone too quickly. You're going to enjoy it when you get in there. But my answer to that question is that I'd love to see it happen, but I think in my opinion, it's unlikely that even with our resources and our backing, that we will go and do a double promotion. I'd love to see it. I really would love to see it. It ain't just a case of we got loads of money and lots of good players. It's a case of building a team and a style, and that takes a couple of seasons. So I'd love to see it happen, but in my honest opinion, I don't see us having back-to-back promotions.
Yeah, I mean, I think what would be more achievable is getting promoted from League One and then maybe hitting the playoffs, or maybe just missing out on the playoffs. Or even, I think Blues fans would take a top half finish for first season back in the Championship. And I'm like you, Dad, I'd love to see it. I'd love
to be competitive.
Just to be competitive, yeah. I'd love to see back-to-back promotions. And I'm not saying we won't do that. You know, we got to dream big, and the board have said we're getting a Championship-ready squad for when we do finally get out of League One. So I think the recruitment's been amazing this year, and we will hold our own. I think we're playing in League One this season, not far off, if not a decent Championship side, if I'm honest. We haven't sold many players. Our recruitment has been fantastic. But there'll be another adjustment if we do get back promoted again. There's no doubt about it. So I would love it. I think what would be more reasonable and achievable is a top half, if not pushing for the playoffs for the following season.
Just to be in the Championship and not struggle.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're all used to. But obviously we're a different club, and we'll be a different club going back. With the investment and the players.
But, you know, it can be done. Ipswich have done it. I know Norwich have done it. There's no doubt about it. You can get double back-to-back promotions. And I'm not saying Blues won't. We could do it, but we'd need to get our recruitment spot on. Chris Davis would need to get his tactics spot on. The stars would need to align for that to happen.
Yeah, because it's not just about which players you pick and who you buy, because there's all sorts of things that factor into it. Injuries, poor refereeing decisions. You know, there's anything that can happen during that season, suspensions, that you could have a great team, and all these things are factored in, and you just don't know. So actually, yeah, you do need to play good football to get promoted, but you also need a little bit of luck to go along the way and a few decisions to go your way. Put all that together, and you got half a chance, haven't you? I think it's going to be tough. I'd love it to happen, but I think that it won't be an immediate. I don't think it'll be back-to-back promotions.
So we're both agreeing it can be done, but we think promotion from League One and being competitive in Championship would be a more reasonable and achievable goal.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So on to our next question, and this is from Old and Blue, aka sometimes Morpheus, with the Matrix quotes, and that says also Dion Sanderson ? Defending well and hitting some fantastic long lateral balls. Obviously, Chris Davis influence, but a player transformed in my opinion.
Absolutely. I'm really pleased for him as well because he had a lot of criticism for all sorts of reasons, both on and off the pitch last season, Dion Sanderson. He made that Instagram post where he was apologising and people raised a few eyebrows and were sceptical. But what I like about what he's done, and from what I've seen in pre-season, he's doing his talking on the pitch. He's not sending out loads of silly posts or anything anymore. He's just getting and focusing. I think he's a completely different player. I mean, I can't believe some of the balls, 40, 50-yard balls he's pinging, diagonal balls. And I think that's part of Chris Davies' strategy. He's doing that so that it breaks the play up. So if you can ping a ball 40 or 50 yards, you're shifting everything over to the other side of the pitch, and that's getting other teams out of position. And to be able to have the ability to do that, I never knew he was capable of doing that, because all we've ever seen is a Sanderson that is in a struggling team, let's say, because we were. Yeah. That was basically just fighting for our lives. But I think what Dion has shown us, he can play, and I think even though we've brought in Clara at the back, I think he's got a good case for being the starting lineup. So I'm really pleased with him.
It is just pre-season, though. The pressure's off. These are just friendlies. That isn't me discrediting Sanderson. I completely agree with the comment and your comments, Dad. He's looked like a completely different player this pre-season, and I've been impressed with exactly what Morpheus has picked up on with those long lateral balls. Absolutely fantastic, really good player. And he was incredible in his first loan spell. Remember 2 seasons ago now under Eustace. He had a really good season with us, and it was just the turmoil off the pitch last year.
I think it was a mistake. It was a mistake making him captain.
Yeah, it was.
That was a mistake. That didn't help him, and it didn't help the club. And somebody can be a good player, but they just might not be a captain material, and it could have hindered him as well. But I think fair play to him what I've seen in pre-season.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think
But what I want to see this transformed into competitive football now, because it's completely different when it's a competitive game. And I know we are in League One. Sanderson's more than capable of playing at this level, we know that. And but his work's quite out now. We've just signed someone for 4.1 million. Clara, he's going to be firing for that position, and it's good to have the competition at the centre-back space, but I think they're going to be battling for that position pretty much all season long. It's a long season, cup games, rotation, suspension, so I have no doubt Sanderson will get a decent amount of game time this season, and with the transformation we've seen this pre-season, I'm excited to see what he's got.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so that brings on to our next question, and that's from Richard Pincher again, so thank you, Richard, very much for commenting, and he's I'm going to ask the same question as last time with the answer hopefully already known in between me asking it and you answering it. Do you think we will see Jay Stansfield in a blue shirt again?
Well, it's interesting at the time of recording that there's lots of speculation about Blues being locked into talks with Fulham about trying to get him. And actually, by the time this video goes out, which will be in a few days' time, it either could have happened or it could be completely off the cards. We don't know. But the question is, would we like to see him in the blue shirt, or do we expect to see him? Based upon what I'm seeing and reading, the answer is yes. I think we sort of addressed this question before. I said I'd love to see him, but at that time I said I don't think we'll see him this season because he's not going to come to League One. Now, with what I'm hearing and seeing, I'm not convinced. I think we could see him. I think he could sign for us. And I think that the Blues owners have shown that they're not frightened to throw money at things, and if they want a player, they'll go and get them. So, love to see him. Hope it happens. Now I've got to answer the question, will it happen? Yes, it will.
Yeah. You know what, Dad? Let's just jump on the bandwagon of positivity. I think it will as well. From everything I'm seeing, everything I'm reading. In fact, to be fair, I have just seen a post today. Fulham have just posted a video on their social. It's them jetting off to Portugal in their pre-season and Stansfield's there. That's fine. I mean, that doesn't mean anything to the rumours. It just adds that fuel to the fire on speculation on social media. I mean, the Blues fans are up and down. He's signing, he's not signing, he's done this. It's just a roller coaster at the moment. He does keep getting spotted in Birmingham, I believe. I think someone saw him in the Boring, someone saw him in Sutton Coldfield recently. So I don't know whether I've heard he has a sibling around the area. So I wouldn't read too much into it. But I'm with you, Dad. I think we will see him. I'd love to see him. And wouldn't that be the cherry on top of the cake for this summer to get Jay Stansfield through the door?
We've been staggered by the business we've already done so far, but that would be a different level, to get him. And there's so many other championship clubs that are after him as well that would be...
I'd love to see him.
I mean, the great thing is we've got the connection with him. He knows the club, he knows the fans. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to stick my neck out and say, yes, it will happen. Hope it does. And it'd be great to see him back in the blue white shirt again, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, if it's not this season, I'll take him next season or the season after. Whenever we can make that deal happen, I would love at some point to see Jay Stansfield back in the blue shirt.
It will happen. But now the speculation of what's going on, let's probably keep our fingers crossed
and
get him in the blue and white shirt.
I'd love that. Really would be brilliant. Okay, next question. So this is from BCFC 87 Francis. Thank you very much for your question. So great show, guys. What do you believe would be a successful season ticket sales-wise, considering clubs like Huddersfield and Bolton have sold over 20,000 season tickets and we've only sold 13,000?
Right, this question, just to clarify, came from the last batch of questions a few weeks ago, this one did. So at the time, that 13,000 would have been correct. Well, as an update, you probably all know, Blues fans, we've sold over 18,000 now and heading, upwards. We know that the Reading game season match tickets went on sale yesterday, and there's less than 1,500 tickets left for that game. So I think home games are going to be sold out. And I think that'll encourage more season ticket sales because people will, if they're going to struggle to get tickets, the only way to guarantee a seat is to get a season ticket. How far do I think we can go? Well, if we got 18,000, we could get up to 20,000
I think 20 is a good goal.
Yeah, 20,000 season tickets. But, if you think that the away fans get around 2,500, 3,000 on a ground of a capacity of under 30, is it 29, something like that?
Yeah, give or take.
So that means it would be 20,000 home season tickets and let's say 3,000 away tickets. That's 23,000. So that's only going to leave 6,000 for general sale.
You've also got corporate. You've also got
yes. Of course.
You've got the dividing line between the fans.
So there's going to be even less, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. So
okay. So that's a good point. So basically, I think the great news is if you have got a season ticket, the atmosphere is going to be cracking every game because it's going to be sold out virtually every single game.
Honestly, we could go the whole season unbeaten at home, and that's not arrogance about us having a quality team. That's just the power of a fully packed out St.Andrews. We saw it last season. That we had 7 sellouts and we had 7 wins. When the crowd turn up and bring the noise, it really does inspire the team. So I'm with you. I would love to see 20,000 season tickets sold, and even if we don't hit that marker, I still think we're going to see a borderline sellout every single game this season.
And it's great as well because the season ticket sales, I mean, the owners are going to have seen this and they're going to see the way the fans are backing the club. And I think everybody's bought into the vision of what they're doing because the owners have done what they said they were going to do. They've invested, and now the result of that is that I was just talking just off air just before we came on. I was talking to Matt. I said, "Do you remember the first game last season at home where we had the Tilton and the lower Tilton and the lower Cop were all still not open because obviously the stadium was being repaired, and the atmosphere it was good because it was nearly sold out for what we had then, but it's not the same as having a whole full stadium, which is all those fans close to the pitch. And I think it's going to benefit the club in terms of the fans are going to love it, as we always do. The players are going to be over the moon because they're just going to be playing in front of a brilliant atmosphere, and the owners get to see a full stadium.
Yeah,
everybody wins, don't they? But fair play to the Blues fans for a relegated club who's been in the doldrums for years to sell that many season tickets is quite staggering.
Yeah. And it makes a massive difference. When you've got a barrier, so if you're the left back of the opposing team or the right back of the opposing team, and you've got a barrier between where you're playing and the next tier up, the Blues fans can really get under the player's skin when they're close to the pitch. All these different things give you the home advantage. That's literally the definition of it, isn't it? So even with the lower part out of action and a sellout, it's just never the same as a full-on proper packed out. I mean, we saw it last season against Sunderland, Preston, all these games, and the atmosphere in that stadium is just mind-boggling.
It's absolutely amazing, and I think that I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I can't wait, to get down there and experience that atmosphere again.
Yeah, absolutely. So that brings us on to our final question. Then that's from Stuart Allen -FG5QI or J, and that's: could Blues afford Tom Cannon? And love to see him down the Blues if no Stansfield. And sorry, just thank you for your question, sending that in there. Really appreciate it.
Well, of course, it all depends on what happens now with Jay Stansfield. At the time of recording, because obviously sometimes people will watch this weeks afterwards. At the time of recording, Blues are in talks with Fulham.
Locked in talks
to sign Jay Stansfield. If that happens, then I think it'll be a no to Tom Cannon. But he's a good player, Tom Cannon. He's a 6-foot striker, 1.8 metres. Plays for Leicester at the moment. And they bought him from Everton last season, but he hasn't played too many games for Leicester. And he has got a track record of scoring goals. So he's the type of striker that we could really use. So if the Stansfield, transfer doesn't happen, he's the type of player that we should be targeting. The only problem is, when I looked at it today, I think last year Leicester paid $8 million to Everton for him. So it is for
And a quite big question we always ask is, would an 8 million player drop down to League One?
Well, we'd probably get him a couple of million cheaper than that because he hasn't established himself in the Leicester team. He's played in. I think he might have come on against us when we played in the FA Cup. Actually, big tall striker. But he's a type of striker that I like. I like these old-fashioned type style strikers. He just seems to have that about him. But I do think, as we've already mentioned, this will hinge on what we do with Jay Stansfield, whether that happens or it doesn't, and also as well. I mean, that's just a question. We don't even know if Leicester want to sell him.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting one because his name's crossed my bow before, and I thought he looks like a decent player, but I've never really thought about him in this window as being someone that'd be available. So I mean, if you don't know anything about Tom Cannon, then just go and Google him and find out a bit about it for yourself. But he does look like a decent striker to me.
Yeah, and you've banged that drum quite a bit, haven't you, Dad, this season? Well, recently in this transfer market about having a bit more of a diversity in our strikers, having a bit more of a younger Yuki, or having a bit more of a physical presence up top.
Yeah.
Just to have a bit more diversity in our game plan and strategies. If one thing's not working, it just gives us another option off the bench and all these things. So he sounds like he fits your criteria of that more tall, physical
it's a strong physical striker that you could ping across in. He doesn't have to take on his foot. He can try and header it. I think we lack that at the moment. I think any player capable of scoring from a header if the cross is right, and obviously they're in the right positions. But it's just those players that can actually sort of challenge and get headers in and not be pushed off the ball. That's what we're lacking, I think, up front. And I think that's the type of player that he is. So, in fact, Jay Stansfield won't give us that. So if he comes,
different kind of striker, isn't it?
Different kind. So very interesting player, very interesting question actually, and made me re-look at him and think, well, actually, he's the type of player that would really use as well. Cool. I think the issue is going to be the price.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Okay, and that's the final question. And there is just one more on there, and that's just, I guess, an appreciation. That's from Keep It On TV, and he's just mentioned, I've not got a question, but you guys keep smashing it. Keep it up, lads. Keep it on. So keep it on TV. Me and Dad sometimes stay in tune with the podcast, don't we, Dad? And you're doing a great job. I know Jay from the Boy in Blue comments as well. So thank you for everyone in the Blues community that does as much as they can to bring exposure to this great club. We always appreciate it, don't we?
That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the more channels we have, the more engagement with the fans, the better this club will be. So thank you to everyone who comments to our channel. Thank you everyone who watches and for the questions you provided for me and Dad to bring this to this video. But and that's it from us. So as always, Blues fans, please let us know your comments in the section below. If there's anything we've missed or anything you want to add to these questions or answers me and Dad have made, then please drop us a comment below. We love getting around to those and getting back to them as quickly as we can. And if you haven't already, don't forget to check us out on our social media channels. We've got an X page and an Instagram page. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And me and Dad, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, almost forgot there. And me and Dad will see you on the next video, all about Birmingham City.